Being a franchise that has been around for more than 20 years, surely The Sims is no stranger to mystery, abductions, disappearances. And if you've already come across any of our investigations here at the Drama House, you know we take our cases very seriously. We've previously traced down subjects like the long-gone pool table, the cake entertainer, and, of course, the unforgettable but long-lost and gone toy oven. As an uncertified Sims expert myself, Lady Drama, I am no stranger to the Sims franchise basement of defunct objects. In fact, I've been down there many times. But this time, is this time any different to when I found out what those bozos did to the poor heart-shaped bed? No, oh my god. Oh my god.
I'm like literally shook, physically shaking. Homeland Security show up for that?
I don't know. I can't tell. Because this time the disappeared object is one that is quite hard to hide in that basement of defunct pieces.
It's Brittany, bitch.
My dear drama queens, you got it. It's time we explore the inexplicable disappearance of CARS. It's time we answer the question so many of us are afraid to ask. What the hell happened to cars in the Sims franchise? Cars, or more widely, vehicles, made their first appearance in the first The Sims game as early as the base game. In fact, an animation showing a vehicle driven by an NPC would show up for situations such as kids being picked up for school by a school bus, or the carpool that came to pick up a Sim to drive them to work. The Sims Hot Date, the third expansion pack of the series, introduced community lots and, therefore, taxis to drive Sims around. This concept will be used again. For example, in The Sims Vacations, a blue SUV taxi picks up Sims to drive them away from their home once they decide to go on a vacation. In The Sims 1, traveling by taxi has a cost, depending on the final destination. For example, going downtown costs 50 simoleons regardless of whether it's from home or from another downtown lot. Cars, as an independent mean of transportation, were never drivable or purchasable by the active household in The Sims 1, but although the change of scenery did require a loading screen, it's undeniable that having a car, or a taxi, or a bus, or a truck animation solidified the idea that your Sims were somehow traveling around instead of just have them disappear and reappear at the selected location. It's also undeniable that driving and owning a car is very connected to the premise of The Sims as a game. Not only does it reflect something many households deal with in real life, but it also adds a layer to the player's storytelling, which is a big component of a life simulation video game. The presence of a vehicle helps showing more details on the character's lifestyle and life choices. And the game's developers clearly understood this while creating the second chapter to the Sims franchise. Honey, there's a lot to say about cars when it comes to the hero, the one and only, The Sims 2. In fact, according to The Sims Wiki, cars are much more animated and interactive in The Sims 2 than in any other game in the series. Cars received so much love in this game, not only when it comes to NPCs animations, but also being introduced as an interactive object in build mode with the second expansion pack for The Sims 2, Nightlife. Okay, so the vehicles that appear are never a casual choice in The Sims 2, okay? In fact, most of service-based NPCs arrive to your Sim's house in their respective vehicle, but also different vehicles come to pick up your Sims according to their career path and improve in quality as Sims progress in their job, to the point of some Sims getting picked up by a limo or by a town car. Kids go to school in a yellow school bus, but also some jobs in the athletic career use a team bus as carpool. Cars of various kinds, including service NPC vehicles and taxis, can be seen driving randomly around the roads while in neighborhood view. And yeah, there's more. For example, limos also appear when a teen goes out or sneaks out with someone, and when newlyweds are ready to go for their honeymoon. And of course, taxis are always there to get you anywhere you want to travel to, with very impatient NPCs, taxi drivers that will start honking at you the second they pull over to pick you up. In The Sims 2, loading screens were still the norm whenever you were going from one lot to another. However, the vehicle icon on the loading screen varies depending on the car you're using to travel. So if you're going somewhere by taxi, you'll get the taxi image on your loading screen, as opposite to traveling in your own car. And, I mean, let's be clear, so many of us ran to get nightlife as soon as we realized it included the possibility to purchase, own, and drive cars. Once nightlife, or later on free time, is installed, cars are found in the miscellaneous section of the buy mode catalog. Sims can use them to visit community lots as a faster alternative to calling a taxi. They can take their car for a spin, which will give them a boost in energy, comfort, and fun. Sims can use the vehicle to go to work or to school, and the carpool will no longer appear for a Sim who owns a car, as they will autonomously head for the vehicle when it's time to go to work or school. However, the school bus will still comfort teens, and driving to school instead of taking the bus will trigger the minor fear of missing the school bus, so watch out! Sims open the door to get in or out of the car, and they will even open the door to let a dog or a cat in or out. Children and older Sims can choose to sit in cars without actually driving. Sims sitting in a car can turn on the lights and the stereo, even selecting the type of music they want to listen to. If 2 or more Sims are sitting in the car, they will autonomously socialize by talking. And yes, Sims can even woohoo in cars, triggering a dedicated fun animation. Since cars are generally expensive objects, all cars have the option to have an alarm installed, which functions independently from the home alarm. A car alarm costs 250 simoleons and takes 1 sim hour to be installed. A car alarm will go off whenever a burglar is within 6 or 7 tiles of the car, even if the car happens to be inside of a garage. Like I mentioned before, nightlife isn't the only expansion that brought cars to the game, so if you didn't purchase nightlife, you could still get your chance to have cars by purchasing the expansion Free Time, which also added a junk car that could be restored as a fun hobby for your Sims. However, if purchasing nightlife or Free Time wasn't something you wanted or you could do, you could still get cars in your game. In April 2007, a driveway and garage set was made available to download for free on thesims2.com, allowing players without nightlife to use cars if they had a later expansion or stuff pack. Long live The Sims 2 that gave us so many iconic aspects of gameplay and in such an effortless way. And let's keep in mind that just like in The Sims 1, traveling also required loading screens to appear in The Sims 2, but this didn't prevent the team from curating the details of what happened before and after the loading screen. Obviously, once The Sims 2 reached the end of its run, everybody was expecting for the biggest point of complaint for the game, the mentioned loading screen, to receive the chop and be replaced by a fully interactable open world map, one where we could watch our Sims roam around and possibly follow them as they sit in their cars to go from home to work. And yes, The Sims 3 gameplay was here to answer our requests. And oh boy, did they deliver. Cars play a much more important role in The Sims 3 as they are used to travel around to places. In fact, most of the families in The Sims 3 and its expansion packs already own cars, which are either on their lot or in their inventories once the game is loaded. The base game comes with 11 cars that can be purchased from the dedicated vehicles section in buy mode. Driveways in The Sims 3 are smaller than in The Sims 2 and can be placed on a lot even if it is located nowhere near the road.
Thank God.
Allowing players to have different kind of garage types for their Sims homes. Also, contrary to The Sims 2, cars can be stored in individual Sims inventories and dragged and dropped or interacted with directly from the inventory. Just like in The Sims 2, The Sims 3 NPCs also have their own dedicated vehicles, and if a Sim is coming over to your house and they own a car, you'll get to see their car pulling close to your lot. In fact, considering the game has an open world map, you can potentially follow other Sims from your world as they drive around town in their cars. Taxis also exist, as well as carpool vehicles and school buses, with the difference of being very convenient on The Sims Pockets, as taxi rides are always free in The Sims 3, and the arrival of a taxi to take you somewhere is very much more immediate than in The Sims 2. If the expansion pack Generations is installed and the household owns a car, adult Sims can teach teenagers how to drive, which is a detail I find very clever and something I found myself missing when playing The Sims 2. Teens will have to go for a ride several times before fully learning how to drive and finally get their license. Once the teen has learned how to drive, they can use any car on their own. Of course, while the driving classes between an adult from the household and the teenager are happening, the player can just sit and watch them practice, as this will happen right there in front of our eyes. Unfortunately, while some features were implemented from The Sims 2, some other animations were removed completely in The Sims 3. For example, there are no animations for Sims getting into and out of cars. Sims will simply teleport into vehicles and vehicles will appear onto the road or driveway. Also, in The Sims 3, Sims cannot woohoo in cars and they can't sit in a car if it's parked on a driveway. Cars in The Sims 3 are also not equipped with a radio. Stereos and woohoo, among other interactions, were reintroduced only in the classically cool fixer-upper car, which is premium content from The Sims 3 store. I do think that an honorable mention goes to the second stuff pack released for The Sims 3 called Fast Lane Stuff. The pack is centered around cars and the lifestyle of the Sims who drive cars. It features 12 new vehicles and many new objects and styles of clothing, as well as the vehicle enthusiast trait, which will also become available to all players with the following game patch. With this stuff pack, Sims can develop a relationship with their car. The car appears in your Friends tab, and the more a Sim drives it, the better the relationship becomes. The car appears in your Friends tab, and the more a Sim drives it, the better the relationship becomes. As the first stuff pack dedicated to vehicles and the fast lane lifestyle, The Sims 3 Fast Lane Stuff Pack allows the player to choose from 4 different lifestyle options. Each one offers unique items to outfit Sims with the newest fashions, home furnishings, and vehicles. Plus, now Sims can have the ultimate garage where they can store their hot rod, professional racing car, or even their motorcycle. So, with a total of 3 games in the saga, each one of the titles provided players with a different twist on cars, from being just part of an animation in The Sims 1 to becoming part of The Sims property and gameplay experience in The Sims 2, to even becoming part of The Sims personality in The Sims 3. It's understandable that when The Sims 4 was about to grace the scenes, the community was expecting yet another upgrade in the concept of vehicles. What could be next? Maybe the possibility to carpool kids from the neighborhood to school? Sims receiving fines because they were speeding in a residential area? Sims owning food trucks and living their lives as nomads while making their living with delicious burgers? Having their own car shop? An active car mechanic career? Oh boy, the possibilities seemed endless, right? Yet, The Sims 4 base game shipped with no cars. No school bus, no delivery truck, no cars to purchase, no cars to park in your garage. They gave us the absolute nothing. And okay, in hindsight, we know that the Sims 4 base game was rushed and therefore didn't include many important elements, not only cars, but also pools and toddlers. However, even after an excruciating 10 years lifespan, even after 17 expansion packs, 12 game packs, and an astronomical amount of stuff packs and kits, there are no cars in this live simulation game. In The Sims 4, whenever Sims go anywhere, whether it's to work, to school, to university classes, to visit a community lot, to the hospital, to watch a play at the theater, to prom night, anywhere, they just dissolve. Poof, they disappear. Do you remember when in The Sims 2 University, when a young Sim from your household moved to campus, you would get a cute cinematic of their parents dropping them off and saying goodbye? Yeah, forget about that. In The Sims 4, Sims just teleport places by having their bodies just dissolve and then appear back at the selected location after a loading screen. Cars or vehicles in this game are just set dressing, cosmetic objects, like for example in high school years where you ironically have a school bus parked outside of the high school lot just to sit there like a cursed statue. Just a way to remind us of what we used to have and a way to enjoy a big laugh in our faces. Occasionally cars will drive by on the street because obviously it would look weird to have all these roads looking deserted all the time. But again, they're just weird, empty, decorative shells. In The Sims 4 Horse Ranch, some houses in Chestnut Ridge have utility cars, which may even have a horse trailer attached to them. But don't be fooled, in the expansion pack that is all about ranch life and horses, both the cars and the horse trailers are just decorations and can't be used by Sims or horses. It's pretty clear at this point that cars will never make it to the game, as just like this article from GameRant.com mentions, if cars were supposed to exist in any ways in The Sims 4, we would at least have the taxi animation or the school bus animation or something similar to what we've had in previous games. I mean, damn, The Sims 1 didn't have cars our Sims could own, but at least there was a taxi picking you up if you were going on vacation. In terms of existing vehicles in The Sims 4, we do have bicycles for both teens or older and children. And that's it. Oh no, sorry. We also randomly have boats, which made an appearance with the expansion pack Island Living and can be stored in your Sims inventory. And water scooters as well. I mean, no shade, I think it's very fun to have your water scooter and go for a cool ride. And I also enjoy a nice bicycle ride around the trails of San Sequoia or Tortosa. But girl, it's just not enough. It's not enough because I remember my Sims sitting in their car and listening to music in The Sims 2. Just like I remember driving around town with my Sims in The Sims 3. Adults teaching their teenager offspring how to drive, being on a date and getting excited because my date had their own car and so we would drive back home together. And look, you can call me lame, but as somebody that doesn't own a car in my real life, I find some weird pleasure in being able to have one as I play pretend life in The Sims. I mean, isn't that one of the aspects of playing a life simulation game? That you can enjoy doing things you can't do in real life? Well, The Sims 4 said, "No honey, no cars allowed in here. But hey, we're about to give you an expansion pack about funerals. How exciting is that?" I know some players easily disregard the absence of cars in The Sims 4 while they get excited at the idea of being able to have a baby with the Grim Reaper. But I'm here to ask, why not both? And also, I'm here to remind you once again that the OG The Sims game that came out in the year 2000 managed to give a sense of realism with vehicles picking up your Sims. 24 years later, the newest, most updated version of this game can't even do that. And lastly, we could definitely find some reasons in this disappearance by saying that cars are just too difficult to add to the game. It's just too hard to code them in. However, that wouldn't be true, because look at what you can get on modthesims.com. Functional cars with 5 models of different cars added to the game that can be used by your Sims, even giving them a positive moodlet once they arrive to their destination. God bless the modders community, the legends that just make miracles happen. I'm going to add the link to this mod in the description of the video so you can check it out if you don't have it in your game already. As always, let's keep this conversation going in the comment section below. Do let me know what's your experience with cars in the franchise, your best memories from the past, and your take on the current absence of such a fundamental gameplay aspect. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history of yet another defunct object from the franchise, feel free to like the video and don't miss your chance to join the Drama House by hitting that gorgeous subscribe button. Thank you so much for stopping by today. My name is Lady Drama and I hope I'll see you very soon.